This time on Sparks of Discovery.
We'll explore the small but quirky college town of Montevallo in Shelby County.
We'll begin right in the heart of town, exploring the beautiful campus of the University of Montevallo, before enjoying some delicious food in the downtown area.
Next, we'll take a stroll through one of Alabama's most unique and famous city parks, with fun characters and fantastical artwork along the way.
Then we'll venture back into Colonial America at the American Village, where we'll see what life was like during the American Revolution and the founding of our country. Afterwards, we'll get into the outdoors with a hike to a scenic waterfall,
Take a walk through a swamp,
and cool off from the summer heat at a local creek.
Finally, we'll head a few miles east to Calera, where we'll hop on a train to the Wild West of Shelby County, complete with outlaws, gunsmoke, and tons of fun. All this and much more on Discovering Montevallo.
I'm Jess. And this is Price. We're the Sparks.
Welcome to Sparks of Discovery.
Located in southwestern Shelby County, just south of the Birmingham metro area, the city of Montevallo is the geographical center of Alabama.
Home to a little over 7,000 people, Montevallo is probably best known as the home of the University of Montevallo, a small college with less than 3,000 students.
We enjoyed exploring the university campus for ourselves, and we were very impressed at how many historic buildings and homes were included on campus.
I particularly appreciated how many trees were on campus. There was plenty of shade all over the place.
We both love exploring college campuses, and the University of Montevallo is now one of our favorite college campuses in Alabama.
After we explored the campus, we made our way to the small but cozy downtown area. While there didn't seem to be much shopping here, there were some great food options.
We decided to have a meal at the Main Street Tavern, which seemed like a popular place.
Jess enjoyed a pasta dish that was delicious, and I had a salmon dish that was great as well.
The best thing we had, though, was the fried cheese curds, which were awesome.
For dessert, we walked down to the La Conchita Bakery, where we bought a couple of delicious-looking pastries to enjoy.
We devoured them while we sat outside in a little green space between buildings.
We also found an area on the edge of town with several other businesses that were all as cute as they could be.
We loved the Boho Tea Bar, where we enjoyed boba teas that were super refreshing in the afternoon heat.
It's a good thing we don't live too close, or Jess would be here all the time.
One of Montevallo's best-known places to visit is Orr Park, the main city park.
This park is a popular place to cool off in the summer, with a creek running through it and plenty of shade trees to sit under.
We had a picnic under one of the pavilions, and some of our animal friends stopped by to share some food with us too.
The most interesting and unique features of the park, though, are the tree carvings placed all throughout the park.
From funny faces to mythical creatures to animals, it's so much fun to walk through and try to find all of the hidden characters. Plus, they add more carvings every year, so there's always something new to discover.
We really loved walking through Orr Park. Montevallo managed to take a normal city park and turn it into something special by simply adding some unique and special artwork to it, which is always appreciated in our book.
At the far northern end of town, you'll find the American Village, a living history museum dedicated to educating visitors about the Revolutionary War period of American history.
The village is set up to mimic what a colonial village would have been like, complete with all sorts of performances and interactions with characters from the time period.
They didn't allow filming of the performers during their shows, but take our word for it, the actors take their roles very seriously and are a lot of fun.
We enjoyed walking through and exploring the village, including a replica of Concord Bridge where the first shots of the American Revolution were fired.
The park is currently building a replica of Independence Hall, which will be spectacular to see when it's finished.
Currently, they have one wing of the hall open, which houses a theater show and an amazing walkthrough experience that feels like it belongs in a theme park.
The level of detail and immersiveness was truly impressive.
Another interesting feature is Washington Hall, which is modeled after George Washington's home, Mount Vernon.
One wing of the hall contains the Oval Office, complete with the furnishings, artwork, and even a replica of the Resolute desk.
Other buildings include a full colonial church, which was beautiful inside, a museum with tons of miniatures and dioramas of historic events, and a whole building dedicated to honoring American veterans, which was very inspiring to say the least.
We had a blast exploring the American Village, and we definitely recommend making a visit here. It's especially cool to come with a group, as the character interactions and performances are best experienced with other people.
After finishing our tour of the American Village, we set out to explore 3 different points of interest for nature lovers in the Montevallo area.
The first one we went to was about 10 minutes north of town, Falling Rock Falls.
This gorgeous waterfall is accessible only on foot, as it is about a mile from the main road. The walk from the road isn't bad at all, but the short hike down to the base of the falls is a bit treacherous, so it's not for everyone.
If you can make it down there, it's so worth it. We enjoyed spending some time here and relaxing below the falls.
We do have to admit though, this is a very primitive and off the beaten path place. There's no trailhead to speak of, very little parking, and a lot of litter and graffiti.
Shelby County should definitely work harder to take better care of this amazing natural wonder, because it's truly something special and deserves to be protected and maintained for future generations to enjoy.
Another interesting natural feature is also about 10 minutes north of town, the Ebenezer Swamp Ecological Preserve. This preserve is owned and maintained by the University of Montevallo as a living laboratory for wetland research and education.
You can walk on a raised boardwalk through the swamp and see all sorts of critters and interesting plants. We enjoyed a relaxing morning stroll along the boardwalk before it got too hot outside. It was very peaceful and pleasant.
Just south of the American Village on the northern outskirts of town is another interesting park, Shoal Creek Park.
The park is 167 acres with over 9 miles of trails centered around Shoal Creek, which runs right through the middle of it. There's a nice new picnic pavilion next to the creek.
We enjoyed wading and skipping rocks in the creek, and the water was so refreshing.
We walked down one of the trails to another point along the creek where we found a whole bunch of fish who were very curious and fascinated by our camera.
It seems like this park is still being developed, so it'll be interesting to see how it improves over time. It's definitely got the potential to become an amazing outdoor recreational area.
Just a few miles east of Montevallo in the neighboring town of Calera, you'll find the Heart of Dixie Railroad Museum, the official railroad museum of the state of Alabama.
Here at the museum, you can explore many different historic railroad cars and locomotives, various railroad maintenance equipment, and much more. There's a whole rail yard full of different train cars to explore.
In one of the historic train depots on site, there are exhibits full of railroad memorabilia from around the state. The highlight of the museum, though, are the train rides you can take in one of the several different historic train cars they have fully restored to their original state.
Our train car was over 100 years old. We have to give a shout out to one of our train conductors, Miss April, who was so nice and helpful and made sure we got lots of great footage.
On our visit, it was Wild West Day, and our train ride voyage included a trip back in time to the wild, wild west of Shelby County.
In typical Wild West fashion, our train just happened to be transporting a dangerous outlaw accompanied by a group of U.S. Marshals. As to be expected, things didn't go as planned, with the tracks being blocked and the infamous Black Hat Gang ambushing the Marshals and freeing their outlaw companion from the long arm of the law.
The performers were all so impressive, and they had a ton of fun playing their roles.
Have you ever heard of head lice? You will now.
They really put on an excellent show, and we highly recommend a train voyage here, particularly for one of their special events like Wild West Day or the Polar Express at Christmas time. From the small-town vibes and artsy quirks of the downtown area and or park,
to the abundant wildlife and peaceful nature of Falling Rock Falls and Ebenezer Swamp.
to the living history and adventurous spirit of the American Village and the Heart of Dixie Railroad Museum.
Montevallo truly is at the heart of Alabama.
We hope you enjoyed today's video. If you like what we do, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and let us know your thoughts in the comments.
You can also join our Patreon for early access to our videos, behind-the-scenes looks at how we film our videos, detailed info on our plans for future episodes, and more exclusive content. For more information, visit patreon.com/sparksofdiscovery.
Thanks for watching Sparks of Discovery.